Louisville, Kentucky, October 28th, Wednesday. 29th, October 29th, Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live stream. Got sticker. Grandson's going to read the messages. Got questions for me? How's it going out there? Very rainy day today. Thought I was going to be able to go out and run outside, but it never stopped raining. So I did a 45-minute workout on my mini trampoline. Our YouTube channel's got up to 2,700 subscribers. Thanks a lot for that. And we have over 1 million views on our videos. So that's pretty cool.
Polly and Thomas Crook both said hello, everyone.
How you doing, Polly and Thomas Crook? So, a couple notes. Paul McCartney's playing in New Orleans tonight. And the Paul McCartney Man on the Run documentary is going to be streamed on Prime Video in February of 2026. The World Series, Toronto Blue Jays versus the LA Dodgers is tonight.
A little Beatles Corner said, hi everybody here tonight.
How you doing, Patricia?
Uncle Paul's Beatle Pop Playoff said, hello everyone, congratulations, Frank.
Thanks, Uncle Paul.
Danny Goldstein said, hello folks.
So check out Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse YouTube channel, and check out Little Beatles Corner, Patricia, her YouTube channel.
T-Shirt Express said, hi everyone. Nicole said, hi Frank and Sticker Kid and Sticker Grandson today.
Yep. T-Shirt Express, that is his card from Staten Island near New York. We're hoping that he comes and helps us out there in New Jersey in another week. It's about 8 days away. EF4 Everything Fab 4 Fest presents Rubber Soul. November 6th through the 8th at Ashbury Park, New Jersey at the Berkeley Oceanfront Hotel.
Mikey Arugula said, hello everyone.
How you doing, Mikey?
Alan C. Records, good evening.
I got your shirt on there, Mikey. Alan C. Records, how you doing? We're going to see you, I guess, in New Jersey in about another week.
Danny Goldstein said Toronto to
LA 0.
to LA 0 top inning.
On those banger songs that I talked about, my top 10, a few of those were from the 90s, like Low of Cracker. I didn't realize that because YouTube must only started it after the year 2000. So some of those songs were before the year 2000. I did check out that GOTYE group, somebody that I used to know. And it's a song that's been played about 1,000 times on my music. When I worked in the grocery store the last 20 years, I think the last 10 years, I heard that song about 1,000 times. And I do know that song, but it's not really a banger to me, but it is a good song. It has 2 billion views on YouTube. I didn't know any. There aren't too many music videos that have 2 billion views on YouTube.
A little Beatles Corner said, thank you very much, Frank.
You're welcome.
And Mikey said, nice shirt.
Thanks. So, in April of 1971, 4 solo Beatles songs were on the Billboard charts at the same time. You had Paul McCartney with Another Day, John Lennon with Power to the People, George Harrison with What Is Life, and Ringo Starr with It Don't Come Easy. So instead of having one Beatles song in the top 10, we had 4 of them on the charts at the same time from all 4 solo Beatles. So that was pretty cool. April of 1971.
A little Beatles corner said, any idea how many tickets were sold for Asbury Park?
I do not know. The hotel rooms are all booked up, but maybe Mikey knows how many tickets have been sold. I do not know. They interviewed Jan Hallworth in Utah a few weeks ago, and she showed her Grammy. She was married to Peter Blake when the Sgt. Pepper cover was done. And they showed her Grammy, which was kind of falling apart. Now you think you would have that put in a display case or something. But she was married to Peter Blake when they put the Sgt. Pepper cover together, and they interviewed her in Utah. She lives in Utah now.
Elliot, HSU, hi Frank, it's crazy how many butchers you have peeled. What was it like to peel your first butcher? Do you still have that first date butcher cover that's sealed?
I have the first date, yeah. Is that what they're asking? I don't have the first butcher.
No, he was asking what it felt like when you peeled your first butcher and then the second.
It was difficult. I remember I'd never done it before. Made a few tears, and you learn over time. Practice, practice, practice. This is the one I did on Monday. Took me about 2.5 hours. It had some stains on the back, and there were some stains on the trunk cover down here. I was afraid I was not going to be able to peel down there on that corner, but I got it off. It took some time. Only had a few restorations on the edges there, up here in this corner, but all the Beatles images, their faces, everything turned out pretty good. That's the East Coast Scranton with a water-based glue.
The second question was...
I had a hard time getting the trunk slick off. Didn't come off in one piece, but I'm more concentrated on getting it off where there's still another layer of paper and glue on there, because you end up with a better peel if you just get that trunk slick off with another layer underneath there. And then I use the hot towel technique to get the rest of the glue and the paper off.
The second question for Elliot was, do you still have that first date butcher cover that's sealed?
Yes, I have the first date butcher. It's locked up in my vault. I'll be taking it with me to New Jersey next week, I'm pretty sure. Unless I chicken out.
And then the third question was, what's your best peeled one?
Best peeled one, I've had about 5 that have been perfect peels in the last 5 years. This is the West Coast peel, which I never perfected that, but they did this on the East Coast, and it's a pretty nice peel. East Coast right here, West Coast right there. But this one I peeled has no seam splits at all. Nice edges. I have another one coming East Coast. I paid up for that's in almost a near mint condition that I'll be peeling. Hopefully I'll get a peel before we go to New Jersey next week.
LNC Records says, yes sir, I will be bringing some extra Beatle items from my collection for you to possibly purchase.
All right.
We skipped Uncle Paul.
So Frank Chappell will be performing at the November 9th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but thanks. Yes, she's going to be performing. Oh, what did I do with my notes?
You said underneath there. Or is it underneath this?
No. Must have moved it somewhere. Anyway, Chappell's going to be performing November. Was it the 8th there, Uncle Paul?
The 9th.
The 9th, that's on a Friday night at the Rock and Roll. No, that's not it. I don't know how I disappeared with 2 sheets that quick.
Yeah.
Well,
Dave Evans said, "How's it going, Frank?"
How you doing, Dave Evans? So Chapel's going to be the presenter for Chapel Roan's going to present for Cyndi Lauper at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next Friday. Hopefully, she will get up there and perform True Colors. No.
Oh no, that's crazy. We just had it.
Oh well. The mystery of the notes. So somebody gave me an offer today on this butcher cover of the Second State West Coast with no splits on the edges. And they said, I have this up for $2,200. And they said, let me know when you consider selling this for $1,000. And I said, maybe at the end of time, I'll sell this for $1,000. I know I was being a little smart aleck, but I don't understand why they lowball you so much.
Elliot HSU said it's like printing money now when you peel a butcher cover.
It's pretty. Yeah, Noble Records did a interview or did something about 2 years ago where he said that a peeled butcher cover will never be worth it more than a unpeeled butcher cover, but I tend to disagree on that, and so does Perry Cox. Perry Cox sold a peeled butcher cover for $8,000 a couple months ago.
A little Beatles corner said, "Is it boring to peel them now?"
No, it's not boring. It's just different every time. You don't know how they've been stored for 60 years, and everyone's a different experience. You have to know how to change the way you peel them. It's right after you start, you can kind of figure out how you got to go about it. This is my East Coast Second State that's in the shrink. I'll be taking that to New Jersey with me. Me and Mikey will be showing some memorabilia, butcher covers, rubber soles. Mikey's going to have to bring the rubber sole map from 1974. Mine went out in the mail today to the retired DJ on the East Coast.
Johnny Ramone said, "Send it to Perry. He will get $5K."
Yeah. All right, got my notes back. We showed the butcher. That's the East Coast. That's the correct 1966 goldenrod inner sleeve. And the East Coast pressing Stratton with a straight 1.
Mike, you said you liked the East Coast, or you liked that East Coast butcher, the one I guess you showed.
Oh, the Second State?
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to my notes. Found the notes, the missing notes. On Spotify now, Sabrina Carpenter, Uncle Paul will be happy. Sabrina Carpenter outdid Taylor Swift. She's back to #1 with the song "When Did I Get You Hot?" And there's the Chapel Run about the November 8th. The K-pop Demon Hunters, Mattel and Hasbro signed a deal where there's going to be a bunch of K-pop Demon Hunter music memorabilia items come out here in the next 2 months, like the Beatles were in 1964 and 65. And Bill Maher interviewed Rick Springfield about a month ago. And Rick Springfield said he has the largest collection of Beatles handwritten lyrics in the world. And he also, I forgot to mention last week, he also owns Lennon's personal butcher cover proof that he had there in Lennon's apartment in 1971 that he traded for with Dave Morrill. Rick Springfield owns that now. He won it in an auction, paid like $250,000 for it. So Rick Springfield has a huge Beatles collection.
Uncle Paul's Beetle Pop Playhouse said man's best friend, Sabrina Carpenter, LOL.
Yeah.
Mr. Beatles Pro is here. Hey, everyone.
How you doing, Tom? Thanks for being on Every Little Beatles episode number 14 last week with me and Mikey Arugula. We have about close to 300 views on it. You need to check that out if you haven't watched that yet.
Elliot HSU just said, I just bought that K-pop Demon Hunters record.
All right. So this is the, sorry, Mikey, this is already sold. A perfect near mint condition, John Lennon, Reveal 1964. Really nice box. And no Patricia, that these never had the paints in them. They might have an insert to order paints, but they never came with paints. But this is sealed John Lennon parts, and the you can see the instruction sheet right there. So you don't get these in much better shape than this. And I didn't notice this, but here the names are written correctly under the heads. But there's a rumor that hasn't been verified. It's according to Terry Crane. It's in this book that only Paul and Ringo came out first, and then in England, all four of them were released, and then in the United States, later on, they released John Lennon and George Harrison in the model kits. That's why these are so much harder to come by. But on the Paul and Ringo model kits, Mikey can verify this for me. It's got a George underneath the John Lennon, and it's got, oh, the mistake they made. It's got John underneath the George. They're in a different order, and it's got George underneath John Lennon on the side. Only on the Paul and the Ringos that were first issued. It's got a $1.50 number. That's how you know it's the United States. In England, it didn't have that 150, and the colors were a little brighter on England. But I guess it was like the Soki dolls there. They were only going to do Paul and Ringo, and then they must have changed their mind after a few months and put out John and George. But this sold right away when I got it in for $500.
Mr. Beatles Pro said, anytime, looking forward to doing another one.
All right.
And then Mikey Arugula said, okay, got it.
All right.
Mr. Beatles Pro, that is true. That is true about the models.
He's saying that rumor is probably true. They only came out with Paul and Ringo first.
That's what I'm assuming.
Been reading
And then Mikey Arugula said, I would need to look.
Been reading this book, the Dr. Kenneth Womack book. I'm almost done with it. Living the Beatles Legend, The Untold Story of Mal Evans. And then this is another cool book I got, Sundays with Sullivan. Ed Sullivan with the Beatles on the cover. It's an interesting book too.
Mr. Beatles Pro said the Mexican model boxes had an Olympic logo on their box.
Olympic? Oh yeah, I saw that once. I saw one of those. We got 30 people yet watching?
32.
32. Let's do our trivia question to give away my last yesterday and today butcher cover shirt from T-Shirt Express. Size large. Hopefully you know somebody that can wear a size large. I've run out of the extra larges. And the questions right here. The questions have to do with Band on the Run. Here we go. Question 1. Which Beatle in 1969 inspired the title of Band on the Run? Question 2. What studios in England were most of the tracks completed when Paul, Linda, and Denny Lane got back to England? What studio in England were most of the tracks completed? And question 3, what famous drummer shakes a tin can filled with gravel on the track? Picasso's last words, drink to me. Real quick again. Question 1, which Beatle in 1969 inspired the title for Paul to come up with Band on the Run? What studios in England were most of the tracks completed when the band got back to England? And 3, what famous drummer shakes a tin can filled with gravel on the track? Picasso's last words, drink to me, which is on the next to last song. This is what I did my mini trampoline to, is my BC.
Alright, Danny Goldstein's first.
Where's he at?
Right there, pink.
You are correct. Danny Goldstein wins. Good job. Guess I'm about to come up with tougher questions. Hopefully you just didn't get all that from Google. But there's something about these UK pressings. I talked about it, how I got a BBC library of extra texture coming for tomorrow that I'm going to send to Tom, Mr. Beatles Pro.
He said send the t-shirt to Elliot. Well, Elliot, Neil, send us your email.
Elliot,
with your address if you want the shirt.
Elliot, you need to send us your address to Mr._STICKERMANIA@yahoo.com, and I'll send the shirt out to you, Elliot. Mr._STICKERMANIA@yahoo.com. That's gonna go to Elliot. Thanks a lot, Daniel. Put that over. Danny.
Daniel's the other one.
There's that new Bruce Springsteen documentary that came out. I haven't seen it. Supposedly it's not doing very good at the box office. Me and Sticker Grandson, last Christmas we saw the Bob Dylan A Complete Unknown the day it came out, Christmas Day. Pretty good movie.
Great movie. Danny Goldstein said Ginger Baker got Paul in trouble in Lagos with Fela Kuti.
With the what?
Fela Kuti.
Yep. Yeah, but the first studio that they were recording at had a lot of problems, and Ginger Baker took them to another one that was in better condition. Let's see. We're done with the trivia questions. Some show and tells here. We showed the butchers. Talked about UK pressings. I listened to the Imagine today, the UK pressing of Imagine, 1971. Another one that really sounds so much better than the USA, especially the song, the last song on side 2. Oh, Yoko. How Do You Sleep sounds really good on here. Lennon's Dig It, Paul McCartney. So I'm gonna have to try to get a hold of some more 1970s UK pressings because they sound so good on the solo Beatles, but they're hard to get now, and they just sound so much better on my 1970s equipment. My Macintosh 5100 preamp amplifier and my Thorns 3 320 turntable from the late 70s. My amplifier is from 1973. We have a place here in Louisville, magnetic tape recorder that restores my vintage equipment. They do a great job on it. So a couple times when it breaks the rule of going after the UK pressings, because Led Zeppelin 2 was mostly recorded in the United States, and Eddie Kramer and Jimmy Page produced this with Robert Ludwig, who mastered it, the RL Hot Mix. I got a excellent condition one coming, Presswell pressing, that'll be here in a couple of days, but it'll be really expensive.
Dave Evans wants to know how much for the Imagine.
The Imagine album, I'll send you a message on that one. And another one where the USA pressing is so much better is the breaks the rule is the Exile on Main Street, because most of this was recorded, or the master tapes were mastered out in LA by Mick Jagger. So that's one time the USA pressings are better from the 60s and the 70s than the UK, but most of the time the UK wins hands down. Santanic Majestics requests. They're Santanic Majesties. I'll say that right. Majesties request. The song everybody's talking about now off of this album is 2,000 Light Years from Home and She's a Rainbow. Pretty good songs. That's a psychedelic inner sleeve. That was kind of like the Sgt. Pepper. And some of the same people that did the Sgt. Pepper created the Sgt. Pepper. The photographer worked on this one also. Abbey Road. You either want the UK first pressing or the late 70s pressing. Tom Port for Better Records, he swears that the late 70s recut by Harry T. Moss with less bass roll off is a better pressing on his. He has like a $200,000, $400,000 stereo system. He says this is the best pressing of Abbey Road ever. Michael Fremer, he caused a ruckus on the new Purple Rain. Him and Melinda Murphy were kind of going back and forth on what was either the original Purple Rain from Prince or the reissue were better. But Michael Fremer's got a turntable that's worth like $150,000. So I'm sure about anything, most things are going to sound pretty good if you have a $150,000 turntable. All right, here's a album cover from the 60s where the cover is worth a lot more than the record. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Still in the factory shrink.
A little Beatles corner said, "What would that Abbey?
No, she said, would that
Abbey Road be part of BC13?"
Yes. If you have a 78, 79, or 80 pressing of Abbey Road. The BC13s had different pressings from different years. This one doesn't have the date. Let me see if the date's on this one.
Dave Evans said, "Frank, send me an offer for that HTM Abbey Road. Thanks."
All right. On the BC-13s, this is before the BC-13s. There's a little date, English date, that's on the bottom where you can tell what year the pressing's from. But you want to get 77, 78, 79, or 80. According to Tom Port, they're not as good after 1980.
Johnny Ramone said Dodgers home run, now 2-1.
All right. Dodgers are.
I think LA's down 1-1.
LA's ahead or not?
LA's down.
Down.
But up they said that Toronto had 2 back-to-back.
Yeah. But LA's winning the season.
All right, we won't be on here too long. Let's got some other things to show. I got some 2014 original pressings before the 2025. In 2014, they sold these individually in the stores, where they didn't do that this year. This is the Mono Masters factory sealed 3 LP set. Good way to get the single tracks that weren't on the Beatle album, starting with Love Me Do, single version, all the way to You Know My Name, Look Up the Number.
Little Beatles Corner said, what is that condition and price on the Abbey Road?
I don't know. I will let you know. I'll play it tomorrow, because the Dave Evans is interested in it also. Revolver 2014 sealed, and the Beatles White Album 2014 2LP sealed. They all started with the 2014. They all started with the 90 number. So they must have made 8,400 pressings of the White Album in 2014. Because they all started with the 90, and then it says 90-84485. So I thought that somebody told me, I think Dave from my local guy said that they made 35,000 box sets, and then they made a lot of individual ones after that. This is a 4-state yesterday and today in the shrink that doesn't have the butcher cover underneath it. These were made within a few days, like 1 week after the butcher covers were pasted over. But I have from the retired DJ on the East Coast, I have a record club coming in that's on the Black Label, where they didn't make very many of them, and they're all true stereo, all the tracks. Perry Cox sold one of the record club issues with the 3 bars, and there's an 8 added to that for $4,000. But I have one of those coming in I'm going to take to New Jersey with us next week. The Everything Fab 4 Fest celebrates the Beatles' Rubber Soul. You can get the information on the tickets and everything pulling up ef4fest.com. Dr. Kenneth Womack.
Johnny Ramone said, Frank, I got BC-13 Rarities, question mark, Rarities LP.
I got one in the other room, Rarities. Let's see, Rubber Souls. That's what there'll be. Most all the talks. Bruce Spicer's going to do a talk on they wrote this book, the great author of the Beatle books. He's going to do a talk about how the USA did a right on the tracks that they pulled up that they put on the Beatles' Rubber Soul from late Christmas of '65. It's got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's got 12 tracks. Starts off with I've Just Seen a Face, where the UK Starts off with Drive My Car. It's got the rare hype sticker on there. And this is a promo that's drilled in the side of the cover promo. Mono. This is a East Coast Scranton number 3. And the inner sleeve, that's what Rubber Soul had on the inner sleeves. That color, I guess they called it olive green. And it's drilled promo also. You got the Beatles album, Beatles 65. And early Beatles on the slips. Sticker Brat, Sticker Teenagers, he's going with us to New Jersey, I'm pretty sure, in another week. And so is Sticker Granddaughter. Sticker Granddaughter's a little under the weather this week. I guess because of the change of weather, a lot of people have been sick this week, but I haven't been, but a lot of people have been. Beatles for sale, we got to talk about for a second. What I'll have to work out to tomorrow is my Beatles number -1 tube cut from 67, 68 pressing. On the black and gold Parlophone label. And all pressings before 68 had this line right in the middle there. It says sold in the UK subject to resale price conditions. See price lists. So somebody put up a butcher cover. They thought it was a butcher cover. Original. They didn't think it was a 1980s counterfeit. And they asked Rockaway about it. Rockaway said they weren't sure, but I told them it couldn't be a butcher cover because it couldn't be original. It didn't have the stereo statement. This stereo record should be played only on a stereo cartridge and needle to avoid damage. If you don't have that line right there, it's not original 1966 pressing. It's made after 68. So they had to have a counterfeit.
Johnny Ramone said 2014 White Album price, ?
2014, I'll be putting that up on my eBay store unless you want to send me to my $150. This is sealed to my Mr_StickerMania@yahoo.com. You got to get a hold of me so I can send you my PayPal address.
Mike Rodriguez said, "Oh, babe, here it comes."
Well, we already talked about Beatles for sale. Well,
then
you want us to
Danny
talk
goes-
about Mr. Moonlight?
And then Danny goes on and said, "Mr. Moonlight."
Yeah. All right. And I showed the Rubber Souls. I showed the Beatles for sale. I showed those picture sleeves. Here's the Rubber Soul sheet music book from March of 1966. Some other original sheet musics. This one's from England of Can't Buy Me Love. Got 2 yesterdays from the United States. One's got a different number on the back. Looks like they were made in their different tint. And then Paperback Rider and Rain with the same picture. That picture is from... What concert is that picture from? Was that the Hollywood Bowl 65? Gregory Field probably know where that picture's from. And we got Penny Lane, which doesn't have the right photo on the cover because those are the younger Beatles, but Penny Lane was 67. And Hey Jude from 1968. Revolver box set. Uncle Paul bought my last one. I got another one sealed from 2022, the Revolver box set with 4 LPs and the EP in there. And I don't have a rarities in here right now. I think that's about it from Louisville, Kentucky, and we will be back on Saturday. It will be our last one before we head to New Jersey next week on Wednesday. We'll do a live stream. Me and Mikey will do a live stream from New Jersey. Hopefully, don't know if it'll be next Saturday, but we'll do one.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll have it set up.
We'll let you know. So, me and Mikey will be at everything Fab 4 Fest presents Rubber Soul next week, November 6th through the 8th at Ashbury Park, New Jersey at the Berkeley Oceanfront Hotel. All right, thanks a lot for checking in with us tonight. See you later.